Welcome to Quiz Circus. Test your general knowledge. You'll get 50 exciting general knowledge questions covering a wide range of topics, from world capitals and famous monuments to mountains, history, science, and more. You'll have just a few seconds to think, so stay sharp. Don't forget to share your final score in the comments. Are you ready? Let's start. Which chemical element is used in pencils as the lead? Charcoal, graphite, carbon, or zinc? If you said graphite, you're right. Which ocean is the smallest in the world? Arctic Ocean, Indian Ocean, Southern Ocean, or Atlantic Ocean? Well done if you picked the Arctic Ocean. Who painted The Persistence of Memory, famous for melting clocks? Salvador Dali, Pablo Picasso, Andy Warhol, or Claude Monet? If you chose Salvador Dali, you nailed it. Which country gifted the Statue of Liberty to the United States? Germany, Italy, Spain, or France? The correct answer is France. Here is a fun fact. It was a gift in 1886 to celebrate friendship and freedom. The statue was designed by Frederick Auguste Bartholdi. What is the largest species of shark? Great white shark, tiger shark, hammerhead shark, or whale shark? If you said whale shark, you are absolutely correct. Who is known as the Queen of Pop? Madonna, Lady Gaga, Beyoncé, or Taylor Swift? If you picked Madonna, you are spot on. Which continent has the most countries? North America, Asia, South America, or Africa? The correct answer is Africa. Which language has the most native speakers worldwide? English, Hindi, Mandarin Chinese, or Spanish? If you answered Mandarin Chinese, you nailed it. What is the chemical symbol for iron? I, Fe, Ir, or In? Well done if you picked Fe. Which city is home to the famous opera house with sail-like design? Barcelona, Cape Town, Dubai, or Sydney? If you chose Sydney, great job! What is the speed of light in a vacuum, rounded? 300,000 kilometers per second? 150,000 kilometers per second, 3,000 kilometers per second, or 30,000 kilometers per second? If you chose 300,000 kilometers per second, you're correct. Here is a fun fact. Light travels around Earth 7 times in 1 second. Nothing in the universe can travel faster than light. Who wrote the play Death of a Salesman? Arthur Conan Doyle, William Shakespeare, Arthur Miller, or Tennessee Williams? Well done if you picked Arthur Miller. Which gas makes up most of Earth's atmosphere? Oxygen, argon, nitrogen, or carbon dioxide? The right answer is nitrogen. What is the square root of 144? 10, 12, 14, or 16? If you answered 12, you nailed it. Which Italian city is famous for its canals and gondolas? Rome, Naples, Venice, or Milan? If you picked Venice, you are right. Who is known as the father of computers? Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, Charles Babbage, or Alan Turing? The correct answer is Charles Babbage. Which planet has a day longer than its year? Earth, Mars, Neptune, or Venus? Well done if you said Venus. Here is a fun fact. Venus takes 243 Earth days to rotate once, but only 225 days to orbit the Sun. It spins in the opposite direction to most planets. In mathematics, what is the value of pi to 2 decimal places? 2.14, 3.14, 1.41, or 4.13? If you chose 3.14, you are absolutely correct. Who developed the theory of electromagnetism? Isaac Newton, Galileo Galilei, James Clerk Maxwell, or Albert Einstein? If you picked James Clerk Maxwell, excellent work! Which is the longest-running Broadway musical? Les Miserables, The Phantom of the Opera, Hamilton, or Cats? The correct answer is The Phantom of the Opera. Here is a fun fact. The musical opened on Broadway in 1988 and ran until 2023. It has been performed over 13,000 times in New York alone. Which famous scientist is known as the father of modern chemistry? Isaac Newton, Galileo Galilei, Antoine Lavoisier, or Robert Boyle? If you picked Antoine Lavoisier, you're correct. How many degrees are in a circle? 90, 360, 180, or 540? Well done if you answered 360. Which is the largest desert in Asia? Thar Desert, Karakum Desert, Kizilkum Desert, or Gobi Desert? If you said the Gobi Desert, you nailed it. Which writer created the character Hercule Poirot? Charles Dickens, Agatha Christie, J.K. Rowling, or Arthur Conan Doyle? If you chose Agatha Christie, you are correct. Here is a fun fact. Agatha Christie is the best-selling novelist of all time, with over 2 billion copies of her books sold worldwide. Her works have been translated into more than 100 languages, making her the most translated author in history. How many of Agatha Christie's books have you read? Share the titles and your favorites in the comments. What is the freezing point of water in Fahrenheit? 40 degrees Fahrenheit, 0 degrees Fahrenheit, 100 degrees Fahrenheit, or 32 degrees Fahrenheit? The right answer is 32 degrees Fahrenheit. Which musical instrument has keys, pedals, and strings? Guitar, harp, piano, or violin? If you picked piano, you're spot on. Which famous landmark is located in India? Great Wall, Eiffel Tower, Christ the Redeemer, or Taj Mahal? Well done if you chose the Taj Mahal. In physics, what force keeps planets in orbit around the sun? magnetism, friction, gravity, or nuclear force? If you answered gravity, you are right. Which novel begins with the line, "It was the best of times, it was the worst of times"? Moby Dick, Pride and Prejudice, A Tale of Two Cities, or War and Peace? If you picked A Tale of Two Cities, excellent choice. Which blood cells help fight infections in the body? Red blood cells, platelets, plasma, or white blood cells? The correct answer is white blood cells. Which planet is famous for its great red spot, a giant storm? Saturn, Mars, Neptune, or Jupiter? If you chose Jupiter, you are absolutely correct. Who is the author of The Catcher in the Rye? Ernest Hemingway, John Steinbeck, F. Scott Fitzgerald, or J.D. Salinger? If you picked J.D. Salinger, well done. In physics, what does H2O stand for? Hydrogen oxide, water, oxygen gas, or hydrogen peroxide? If you said water, you nailed it. Which African country is known as the Rainbow Nation? South Africa, Kenya, Nigeria, or Tanzania? If you said South Africa, well done. Here is a fun fact. It is called the Rainbow Nation because of its incredible cultural and ethnic diversity. It symbolizes hope, unity, and the peaceful coexistence of people of many races, languages, and traditions. What is the largest planet in our solar system? Saturn, Uranus, Earth, or Jupiter? If you picked Jupiter, you're spot on. Which playwright wrote A Streetcar Named Desire? George Bernard Shaw, Oscar Wilde, Tennessee Williams, or Anton Chekhov? Well done if you said Tennessee Williams. What is the value of 7 times 8? 48, 54, 62, or 56? If you answered 56, you are correct. Which bird is the symbol of peace? Raven, dove, hawk, or eagle? The correct answer is dove. Who developed the first successful polio vaccine in 1955? Alexander Fleming, Louis Pasteur, Edward Jenner, or Jonas Salk? If you said Jonas Salk, you nailed it. Which Greek god was the king of the gods? Poseidon, Hades, Apollo, or Zeus? Well done if you picked Zeus. Here is a fun fact. Unlike distant, perfect gods in some religions, Greek gods had very human flaws. Jealousy, anger, love affairs, even revenge plots. This made their stories dramatic and relatable. Which physicist is famous for the uncertainty principle? Max Planck, Werner Heisenberg, Niels Bohr, or Richard Feynman? If you chose Werner Heisenberg, you are correct. Here is a fun fact. Did you know Walter White's alias Heisenberg in Breaking Bad was inspired by physicist Werner Heisenberg? The real Heisenberg is famous for the uncertainty principle, which says you can't precisely know both the position and momentum of a particle at the same time. Walter in Breaking Bad chose the name because, just like the principal, his future and intentions became unpredictable and uncertain as he transformed into Heisenberg. Which famous scientist is known for the theory of radioactivity? Louis Pasteur, Michael Faraday, Marie Curie, or Gregor Mendel? If you picked Marie Curie, you're absolutely correct. Which instrument is used to measure atmospheric pressure? Thermometer, altimeter, hygrometer, or barometer? The correct answer is barometer. Who wrote the epic poem The Odyssey? Sophocles, Euripides, Virgil, or Homer? Well done if you said Homer. Which country is the world's largest producer of coffee? Vietnam, Brazil, Colombia, or Ethiopia? If you picked Brazil, you're right. What is the most abundant metal in Earth's crust? Iron, aluminum, copper, or zinc? If you answered aluminum, you nailed it. What is the national sport of Japan? Judo, karate, sumo wrestling, or baseball? If you answered sumo wrestling, excellent work! Which famous band released the album Abbey Road in 1969? The Rolling Stones, Pink Floyd, The Who, or The Beatles? If you picked The Beatles, you got it right! Which planet is known for having rings made mostly of ice and rock? Jupiter, Neptune, Saturn, or Uranus? If you picked Saturn, you are correct. Which mathematician is known as the father of geometry? Archimedes, Pythagoras, Aristotle, or Euclid? If you picked Euclid, you are spot on. That's the end of today's quiz. Well done for making it to the end. How many did you get right? Share your score in the comments. Do you know something cool we didn't mention? Add your fun fact down below. If you enjoyed the quiz, don't forget to like and subscribe for more.